Bonjour. Good afternoon, everyone. You're the lucky recipients for a presentation in English today, because in the United States, we stopped learning French in the 8th grade. So I have a very limited capacity for French. My name is Mike Ciotti. I'm a Senior Vice President for Product at PDC Machines. We are a compressor manufacturer based in the United States, close to New York City and Philadelphia. And I'd like to talk about some of our offerings. We are a company that have been providing products to the clean energy industry for over 45 years. But at this show, there are certainly many new faces that we haven't seen before. It's beneficial to talk about our history, what diaphragm compressors do, why they are selected, how PDC is addressing this market in Europe specifically, and the range of applications that we can serve. So I think the first thing is to define what PDC makes. We make a diaphragm compressor. A diaphragm compressor is a pressure boosting apparatus. There's always some source of hydrogen that's created by an electrolyzer, a steam methane reformer. It might be coming out at 5 or 6 bar if it's a liquid, 30 bar if it's electrolysis. And the cars that we're fueling need to have pressure up to 350 or 700 bar. So this device takes hydrogen in the front at low pressure, pushes it out the back at high pressure. Now, the advantage of a diaphragm compressor system is that the hydrogen is separated from the hydraulic fluid that compresses it by diaphragms and O-rings. And this proven system has been in use for over 45 years. So these systems are made for small industrial applications or for large bus fueling projects, and we'll look at those very shortly. But the history of PDC, I think, is interesting as well, because it somewhat mirrors what's been happening with alternative energy and this transition to zero carbon. PDC was built as a startup company, much like hydrogen fueling startups are in this room, by a single gentleman, our founder, Cy Afzal, born out of his garage. Started the business in 1977 making diaphragm compressors for the industrial gas industry. At those times, anything that needed to be filled in a tube trailer, nitrogen, oxygen, hydrogen, or specialty chemicals, he started that business. And as the business grew over years, PDC grew with it, and we built more manufacturing capabilities. So starting in the late 1990s, 1999 in fact, we started addressing the hydrogen fueling market. So you can say we've been in this market for nearly 25 years. Moving along with it, really starting off with the industrial gas companies. And then as we addressed more and more projects in the United States and all around the world, we had to increase our manufacturing capability, opening service offices in Asia and especially in Europe, where we're located today. And very recently this year, we opened up our new world headquarters in Souderton, Pennsylvania, which is very close to Philadelphia. The Souderton facility consolidates 3 manufacturing buildings and 1 office complex into a 14,000 square meter manufacturing space, where we do all our assembly, all our testing, spare parts consolidation, and we performance test every unit that goes out the door. Now, we don't performance test everything on hydrogen yet. We use helium, which is very close, approximates the leak size of hydrogen, but not quite. But we will have hydrogen testing capabilities in the second quarter of this year to test some of our other products. So while this is our world manufacturing headquarters, we should be mindful that PDC does serve clients wherever they are in the world. We are obviously based in the northeastern part of the United States. The local team that serves EMEA is based out of Munich, Germany. We didn't have time to take everyone's picture, so why is it doing this? It's a larger team, but we also have a representation in China where we package equipment, Australia, Japan, and South Korea. So specifically for what we would be doing in Europe is we have a fabrication shop in Munich, and we have local capabilities to factory acceptance test all the units with customer witnessing that test. I think this is very important. Understand ATEX and PED and what's required. And we have larger compressor systems that can be fabricated at partners of ours and shop tested as well. So good to have local production. You can fly to anywhere, watch this being made, and test it. When we talk about PDC's been in this market for many years, I just tried to take a snapshot of the last 10 years of what we've done in Europe. So Europe, United Kingdom, the classic European market, excluding the Middle East. We sold 150 plus hydrogen compressors just for hydrogen applications. Now, those could be for industrial uses. Several of them are for fueling. I mean, over 60 were for 700 bar fueling of retail vehicles or demonstration of cars. So a lot of experience with hydrogen compressors in many countries in Europe. If you want to stop by the booth later, I can tell you which countries exactly the breakdown, but it doesn't make sense for this graph. So a lot of experience. And we said if these compressors that we sold would have been operating 80% of the time for the last 10 years, they would have generated 56,000 tons of hydrogen. So high capacity systems aren't very small. They're large systems to fill buses, larger vehicles as well. And on our website, we have a rolling graphic about PDC compressors in 2021 specifically. With the hydrogen they've produced to offset diesel or other types of fuels, would have saved the Earth 600,000 tons of CO2. Now we can get into what PDC's offerings are. So PDC, again, is a manufacturer of diaphragm compressor systems. The compressor systems from the left to the right, they can be sold as a standalone station component. So what we would do here, and we'll show this on a graphic later, is we'd have a source of hydrogen that's coming in at low pressure, feed it to a compressor to increase the pressure. We would fill storage tubes or direct fill through a dispenser to a vehicle. That's a classic PDC system. Sold on a skid, made for indoor, outdoor, cold weather, warm weather, anything you name it system. The middle is a unique product that we have. This is called the Simple Fuel Hydrogen Appliance. This is a hydrogen fueling system in a box, or 2 boxes. But this unit contains a 20 kilogram a day PEM electrolyzer, a compressor, storage tubes, and a dispenser all in one unit. So for example, by bringing deionized water into this unit and power, you could fill 3 700 bar vehicles a day, 3 or 4, and serve a fleet of maybe 5 or 10 vehicles. This specific example shown in the middle, this is in Boston in the United States. We have other examples on the later slides from Washington, D.C., the Philadelphia Eagles, American football team, Japan, Korea. And then at the end is something else that we also do, is we combine our compressors into larger fueling systems. So the thing on the right would not necessarily be containing an electrolyzer, but it would contain the other components, the compressor, the storage, and it could have the dispensing. We sell our systems into complete hydrogen refueling stations that we can design and then sell through our partners. So the range of products that we have, this is not meant to be the exact numbers, but we have products called a 3, a 4, a 13, and then what I'm trying to do is, what I am doing is developing the products for the future to address the market that we see here when we talk to all the vendors and the people putting together projects and what's going to be happening in Europe. How do we see the market develop? What vehicles are we going to fuel? So, in general, any type of compressor we sell can support traditional industrial gas usage, so filling trailers at 200 or 300 bar. We can fill buses with systems, or we can fill road vehicles. So basically, it's whatever application you have for mobility, or frankly for industrial use. PDC has a compressor sized for that. We've probably already done it before, so we have experience. Just a few slides on the small scale system that we talked about before, the Simple Fuel, which is the fueling system in a box. This comes in generally 2 versions, a 350 bar version that in the United States at least we would use for forklift trucks, material handling equipment specifically. It can be used indoors, and a forklift truck would typically hold 1 to 2 kilograms of hydrogen. So with a unit making 20 kilograms a day, you could theoretically fill 10 forklift trucks a day with this unit. Or for the outdoor application, we could fill 700 bar road vehicles. Many options on the way to play this, but we could fill 3 to 5 units outdoors as well at 700 bar. I think this is interesting because I'm an engineer. I like to see things inside a box. But, for your interest, the container has the PEM electrolyzer stack in the bottom corner. In the front, on this picture, is the diaphragm compressor system. On the back end are hydrogen storage tubes, and then the dispensing components are in the front. So this took a lot of engineering effort by many parties to package this together and get it to meet the codes and standards. So this meets US codes and standards. We sold it into Japan, meets the Australian requirements, and we're just waiting to get final certification for Europe, but we'll have that in a few months. So it's a package that really can be used anywhere in the world. What's nice about the package is 20 kilograms a day from electrolysis unit does not take such a high electrical power demand that you need to go to the utility provider and get a new transformer put into your facility. So it's low capacity, but it's also low power consumption that almost everyone has at an industrial park or a warehouse, or frankly, almost your home. These are the versions of the simple fuel, but again, we have a simple fuel that fills at 350 bar or 700 bar. Talks about how many we can do. These slides will be up there. You can go over this later. I always like to show this slide because it shows how compact and how well it can fit within Boston, which is notoriously known for tight streets. And everything fits in there, meets all setback distances for the US. Same thing can be done in Europe. This is what I was talking about before, about how PDC compressors are generally used in an application. So we have a hydrogen source on the left. That's our electrolysis unit. We could change the electrolysis unit to a liquid hydrogen tank. We could change it to a tube trailer, change it to a steam methane reformation unit, a biogas source. Doesn't really matter. The only thing that matters to the PDC compressor is that we're getting clean, dry gas coming in. Dirty gas does not suit the diaphragms well, and it will reduce your life. We put filtration on it. Normally, any type of PEM electrolysis unit will be fine. So in the typical application, we're bringing in hydrogen from an electrolysis unit, boosting its pressure to whatever we need to dispense it at, 35 or 70 MPa. So if we're bringing in something at a very low pressure, like 10 bar, because of the compression ratios that we're allowed to use with hydrogen, so we don't overheat it and cook the seals, the soft goods in our system, you might have a three-stage unit, which this is meant to represent, to get to 700 bar. So PDC systems fill anything. This is a very typical application. Electrolysis, filling tubes, also filling a tube trailer, and then going to a dispenser unit. It's a schematic, it's a simplification. And then what would generally happen with the tube trailer is they might take the tube trailer to another location. So the tube trailer might be at 200 or 300 bar. That would feed another PDC compressor to boost it to 700 or more bar, and then fill it to the dispenser. Typical schematics, how these run. Very common project. Filling tube trailers here, delivering trailer there, dispensing there. So something we have a lot of experience with. As an example of a project we did in Stuttgart. This is still running today. I think it's running 12 buses. So this is if you notice the model number, a PDC 13. This is the largest type of system we provide. I know it's fed from a tube trailer, and it's the operators of this site say it's very reliable. Other examples of hydrogen refueling systems, or where PDC, the list is too extensive to talk about where PDC equipment is currently being incorporated, but we have several examples. The Shikai station in Japan, that's fed from biogas, 700 bar. Busan stations, also 700 bar. We have the Olympic fueling stations in Japan. So these compressor systems are used in heavy-duty application environments, United States, Europe. We didn't really show Africa on here. We have a lot of mining, not a lot, we have mining equipment in South Africa that we're doing right now. So dirty environment, clean environment, works everywhere. So I know I ran through these slides. If anyone has more questions or something they'd like to ask, we have more time to spend one-on-one. Please visit our booth. It's just 2 or 3 spaces down on the left, and I'd be glad to talk to you. Thank you very much.